If you ask us how it's going, we would say it's going just fine. Hey, welcome back. I'm Adam of the WALTWINS. Thank you for indulging me in that little dilly. If you are new here, welcome. Consider subscribing and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything we do, no matter what we're doing. 99% of the time it's cooking, and then the other 1%, it's these types of videos. It's the types of videos where we want to come and give you as much information as we can to help you in your griddle decision-making process. I think that's right. Basically what we've been doing is we've been cooking on the Sierra now for the better part of 10 months and pushing 11 months now. This thing has been awesome. We've done a ton of cooks working with Pit Boss. I've got both my Pit Boss Ultimate Griddle in the background and then the Pit Boss Sierra. It was a Walmart exclusive, and as such we were really doing what we could working with Pit Boss to, well, highlight how many cooks we could get on this thing and do everything we could for it. So a lot of people have been asking, and we've been looking a lot through the Facebook groups, not only for the Pit Boss griddle community, but other griddle communities as well. People really wondering, hey, how are these things holding up over time? So I want to talk about some of the pros, the cons, things that have worked, things that maybe we would do different, and also talk about a little bit of comparisons, because I know that is one thing that people always wonder. Knowing with as much griddle cooking as we do, the WALTWINS, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cooks on this channel over the last 2.5 years, I definitely want to give our, I guess, professional insight on it. I am flying solo. There's no Brett today. If you've watched the last couple videos, he's up at the Brett's Brickyard Bistro. In fact, he's working on something else, I think, for this upcoming weekend. We do have a cook together this Wednesday, and then we'll be actually together cooking for the next series of videos coming out. So we'll be back here in the Backyard Diner, which makes me so happy. But let me just jump right in and start telling you some of the things that we really like about the Pit Boss Sierra. First things first, I really want to jump in and talk about how this thing is holding up. Well, I went and took some footage. I just cleaned it up. It had been sitting for a couple of weeks. Here's the craziest thing about it. For all the cooking we've done, it's been about 2.5, 3 weeks since I've really gotten some good cooking done on this Sierra unit. So it's actually been sitting outside uncovered, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. I did have the top down, of course, but I just want to show you, and a lot of this didn't just happen over the last couple weeks, but now as you look at the griddle overall wear and tear, hey, we're almost a year in Central Florida. We're going to get a little bit of rusting on the outside of the unit. Don't worry, I'll get to the surface here in just a second, but on the shelves, we've got a little bit of peeling that's come with the excessive heat here. Sometimes I cover this, sometimes I do not. I find if I leave it covered for too long, the humidity built up underneath a canvas or fabric cover does tend to really create moisture that is not good for the surface. So I've got a little bit of rusting. Anywhere where there's exposed metal, there's a little bit of rusting. That is every single griddle smoker that I have ever owned, especially here in Florida. And on the bottom shelf, we did have our dome sitting there for quite some time. So unfortunately, we were not paying attention to that. It did create a zone where moisture developed, and we do have a big rust spot. But the best part is that's not the surface. Like I said, we've had this something similar on every single grill or griddle unit we've ever had, but look at the griddle surface. The griddle surface still looks almost as brand new as it did on day one. If you look at that, I literally just took soap, hot water and soap, and cleaned it off just earlier today, just to kind of get it one more polish, and it still doesn't cease to amaze me. This thing still looks like it did on day one. A couple of months ago, I was in one of the Facebook groups, and I submitted a picture, and somebody said, no, we'll take a picture of what it looks like now, not when it's brand new. And I thought, wow, if that's not telling. This was after 6 months of use. I have done 130 plus cooks on this, possibly more. When we look back, all the cooks we've done for the channel and the ones I do for my family, I cook regularly. If I'm not cooking inside, I'm always cooking on the Sierra. I do have the Ultimate Griddle, but otherwise for the Sierra itself, it's still nearly flawless. Now, there was one part that started to chip up on the wall, on the inside wall. I started to notice that after about 4 months. So I got this unit in December, and I put it together, did my first cooks late December. By April or May, I had noticed some chipping, and I was really worried about it rusting out and starting a process of rusting the surface. I let Pit Boss know, and they just said, keep an eye on it. And obviously, if it's gonna cause a problem, if it gets to the cooking surface, we're definitely gonna pull it and swap it out. But it's looked the exact same ever since. It is not creeped, it's not crawled, it has not touched the surface. It stays relatively right where it is. The dome, the hood, the actual pull down hood, the inside did rust out. I got some food on it and it did rust. I tried to clean it a little bit. I need to get some degreaser on there and actually try to help what I can. Rust-Oleum is tough. You never want to use Rust-Oleum on or near cooking surfaces, no matter how much you you clean it off. We just want to be careful with that. So I will be looking into that, or possibly replacing that hood. Some good information to know. I just wanted to talk about how it is holding up this far. So I also wanted to mention some of the things that we really love about the griddle. The first thing is, we were cooking on the cold rolled steel on the Blackstone for 2 years. Absolutely loved cooking on it. We still love cooking on it. The cold rolled steel units are fantastic. They're amazing. They're also high maintenance. In the last video, Brett was comparing the cold rolled steel to like your cast iron on the inside. Makes phenomenal foods, and when you can, it's great if you have the time before to prep it, to use it, and then to prepare and put it away after. It's unbeatable. They're great. They're fantastic. But 9 times out of 10, if you're cooking inside, especially for a family, you're just trying to get things going, you grab the non-stick cookware, whatever it is, because it's the easiest, quickest what you have, and the cleanup is a breeze. Same can be said for the griddle. So this griddle, like I said, 130 cooks in, it still is working just like it did on day one. I do get some sticking from time to time. That seems to be a problem for some people who that's like the make or break. It's not the break. You can use a little bit more oil if you want to. We've chosen to use less to no oil, so we're still making adjustments and learning along the way as well. So the comparison between like cold rolled steel and this griddle is compared to like your cast iron inside versus your ceramic or your non-stick cookware. And that brings me to another point. Is it okay that we can like both? Is it okay that you can use both or have both? It seems like it's such a competition. It has to be one or the other. It doesn't. We love griddle cooking no matter what we're cooking on. The cold rolled steel is fantastic. It's phenomenal. With a preference, it was my wife who brought to my attention having both side by side, because I have a family. There's 6 of us in our family, and I'm super busy. I'm a full-time school teacher, and we do this full-time as well. Time is of the essence, and so a lot of times I find myself using the non-stick just because of how easy it is to clean up afterwards and to not have to go through the seasoning process and everything. That said, I still love the seasoning process. When I have the time to do it, I still love it. It's a process. I enjoy it. There is something for everyone. If you're the type of person that you're on the go, or you don't have time, or you're worried about trying to take care of the cold rolled steel after each cook, then maybe the Pit Boss Sierra Griddle or the Ultimate Griddles, the Pit Boss line, is for you. There's just something for everybody. It may not be that everybody likes the ceramic. Maybe for some people, it doesn't get the right sear, which again, even in the Facebook groups, people are proving that point. It seems like that's a go-to, like we will prove it. Brett and I will admit, we get so concerned about temps. We cook everything on low to medium low, something we borrowed over from our Blackstone days. Because of that, we often leave it too low. So a key difference, the cold rolled steel holds and maintains a higher heat over time. So for example, if we're doing smash burgers, if I flip the burger, it's cooled down just a little bit. So if I want to do a second wave of burgers, I've got to let it sit for just a minute. Where the cold rolled steel, I can kind of do them back to back. Something to consider. It doesn't mean that it's any better, it's just a little bit maybe quicker on the Blackstone. That was something that we noticed. And with Blackstone, I'm also talking Camp Chef, any of the other cold rolled steel units. It seems that somebody got really bothered when I kept calling it cold rolled steel, because like, what, you can't say Blackstone because we cook on the Blackstone? It's just, it's interesting that it's not a comparison. It's just what we happen to know, and we recognize there's others. We have a really good friend who only cooks on the Camp Chef. Well, that's a cold rolled steel unit too. So in an attempt to not offend everybody, it seems that we're offending somebody every time. So or what we wish we'd known, maybe done a little bit different. I think early on we were so over worried with putting any metal or using any metal at all that we avoided everything completely, including even using a smash press. So we went to the silicone mat, which I still have the silicone mat that I use, but 9 times out of 10 I'm just ripping parchment paper and using the big metal press because it can touch the griddle surface. I'm just not scraping it and running it across the griddle surface. The thing is, with my cold rolled steel, I wouldn't either, because it can also scratch the seasoning, and I don't want to have to re-season. A lot of the things that we were concerned about early on, we found just we didn't need to worry so much. We really needed to trust that these things are robust and they can handle it. They're heavy duty and it is fantastic. Another thing too, and this is every griddle, but what I'm starting to learn with most of the Pit Boss units is they have a hot zone, and it seems to be on the propane side between the first and second burner. Almost every Sierra griddle and almost every Ultimate griddle I see, this is a really, really hot zone. People are like, even on low, I've got this one spot that it just gets screaming hot. That's usually where we start to see food sticking and things like that. So that was my biggest takeaway from what I've seen with these Pit Boss units, is there is a hotter zone. While every griddle I've had has had a hot and cold zones, while that's the hottest, the top left corner would definitely be the coolest. Like with any griddle cooking or even grill cooking, you learn to use those zones to your advantage, and it works out great. So it hasn't been an issue or a problem for us. When the pandemic first hit and Brett and I switched our channel from whatever it is we were doing, fast food reviews and karaoke, carpool karaoke and all these other things, when we got into cooking, we didn't know that we were really striking while the iron was hot. We started cooking on the Blackstone griddle and found a passion that we never realized existed. We had both been cooking for a long time. In fact, I always jokingly say I cut my teeth griddle cooking on my electric griddle inside, because honestly, the majority of the meals that I cooked inside, if I could use the electric griddle, I would. Everything from filet mignon, pork chops to you name it, that's what I was using. But the abundance of recipes we hadn't developed till we started cooking on our Blackstone unit. Well, getting a chance to work with Pit Boss was a dream come true. They really trusted us to come and put this through the ringer, to really work and to show what works, maybe what doesn't work. And they've always had an open mind and said, you know, tell us if something isn't going right. So the only way we can fix it if we know it. But getting to griddle cook and share that passion has been a remarkable journey for us. And we often mention, we will always show our cooks, whether we're on the ceramic coated or a cold rolled steel unit or even stainless steel. We don't know what the future holds, but whatever units we're cooking on, we want to share our passion. And if you ever have questions or adjustments you can do, our goal is to always share the recipes that we love to cook for our families, and we want to share them with you. That's why we have a cookbook. Speaking of, don't forget to check it out. The Epic Outdoor Griddle Cookbook, coming to you January 17th. It will be released. It's available on pre-order right now on Amazon.com. And for those that do pre-order, there are some extra goodies coming your way, some extra recipes that will not be found in the book. We cannot wait to share those with you. If you're cooking on a griddle, we're here to help. We've answered a ton of questions about how to season a griddle. People reach out to us through Facebook, through Instagram, whatever it is. We want to answer those questions, and we don't cut anybody off because you're cooking on a different brand. We don't care. We really don't. We're just happy to come and share our passion for outdoor cooking, for griddle cooking, and we really think that this is not going away. This isn't a fad that's come and gone. We really think griddle cooking is here to stay. I think it's the next evolutionary process in grill outdoor cooking. And those of you that do griddle cook and reach out to us on a constant basis, remind us of that. So we're happy to share that passion with you. So a lot of times when we make these kinds of videos, we already kind of preempt in our minds what kind of comments they're going to be. And while we know the vast majority are going to be positive and supportive, or people who have found some of the same things we did, there's also going to be some naysayers or people who have not had the same experience. We are human. We always remind people, yes, we have a ton of cooking experience, but we still consider ourselves novices. We just love to share our passion with you. And we figured that's why people come and hang out, because we recognize that we're imperfect and we're not going to be perfect, but we try to make it simple and griddle cooking easy. A really good friend of ours once said, we take the mystery out of cooking, and that has been a goal of ours ever since. So I hope this video helped you in some way, shape, or form. I know it was a lot of rambling. I wanted to show you what works, what doesn't, and how the cooks have been. Almost a year in, this thing is phenomenal. We have zero regrets about cooking on the ceramic surface on the Pit Boss Sierra Griddle and the Ultimate Griddles. They've been just spectacular. But I really hope this information helped you in some way, shape, or form understand that if you are in the market for a griddle, the ceramic coated on the Pit Boss Ultimate Griddles, on the Sierra Griddles, and let's be honest, the looks of these griddles is phenomenal. They are beautiful looking machines, and we see it all the time in griddle communities, people saying, wow, they look so great. I would love to get one of those. They're so beautiful, and that is true. If this video helped you in any way, shape, or form, make sure and give this video a thumbs up. We really do appreciate it. It's one way in which you can support the channel and what we do. Another way you can support us is through our merchandise. There's a link to that in the description below this video, as well as many of the other affiliate links and other items which we use in all our videos. We love getting to work with brands, and we only share products that we ourselves use or would stand behind. And getting to work with Pit Boss has been a dream come true. The Pit Boss Sierra Griddle is fantastic. The Pit Boss Ultimate Griddle, absolutely amazing. And we really do think there's something for everyone. I hope that this video gives you some insight and hopefully some confidence when you go to purchase a griddle, that how long this thing will last. Bear in mind, it's been 10 months, 130 plus cooks. How many cooks would you do on it? The average grill or griddler cooks maybe a dozen or 2 dozen times per year. If that's the case, you're looking at 5-6 years on this. Who knows? I don't know how long, but I'm going to continue to use it, and we will let you know when we start to see some breakdown with the surface, so we know how long it lasts and we can pass that information on to you. And as we always say, we love getting to come and do this, and the reason we do this is because typically with both of us, with Brett and I, all we do is twin, but all we do is win when we get to share this information with you. And with that, we bid you adieu, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And griddle on!